I just say we had a typical American life.
Meet the humble veteran in Cresswell who has served for so long, who has flown so much.
I got in jets. We were flying F-84, A-26, P-51, P-38s.
Richard Hyman has served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, flying high and low across the battlefields in America's history.
Graduated high school one day, and the next day I was in the service. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to fly airplanes. The war came along, and I volunteered for cadets, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to fly airplanes.
Just like he said it, Richard looked to get up and out of his small town in rural Kansas and take to the skies, something he says he always holds close to his heart.
The P-38, A-26, 104, P-51, B-47.
Being the youngest to fly with his squadron, it took a lot to pry him out of the cockpit. Needless to say, he was born with wings.
But I would fly. I got my missions real quick, so I stayed and flew extra ones for a while, and they finally said, "Junior, go home." So I was the youngest guy, and that was a lot of people call me Junior or the kid.
With one war down, the rest followed with too many memories and missions to remember, whether flying in the dark over Korea or protecting bomber formations.
We strafed a lot of trucks, and we found a bivouac area where the guys were having their little meals or something. We'd strafe that, in the dark.
Over time, Richard was no longer the young pilot he once was, gaining the respect and admirations of his superiors and other young pilots, while still never losing his distinct humor.
I came back home, and then I flew extra ones first, and then came back to the States and got checked out in jets. We had an airplane called the P-59, and it was absolutely the worst airplane I ever flew in my life. It was a terrible airplane.
After bouncing around the country and the world at bases with his wife and kids, he would settle in Cresswell in the 1970s and has been a proud Oregonian ever since. Now being honored at the Oregon Ducks spring game, he knows that he and the world around him has changed from when he was a young Jewish pilot.
Look at that.
I'll probably sleep in this thing. There was so much anti-Semitism. It wasn't admitted, but there was a whole lot of anti-Semitism. But I wasn't going to let that bother me. Didn't enter into it. Anybody try to challenge me, I was ready to answer. And I was a little kid. Hell, I weighed 125, 30 pounds maybe the whole time I was in during the war. I was small, but I wasn't going to let them trample me.
With memories and friendships that have lasted a lifetime, Richard says he knows he's lived a gracious life with his family and the surrounding community, always wanting to return to his favorite place, up in the air.
Because, see, I was one of the first jet pilots in the country. And somebody said, would you do it all again? And I said, at a pig's ass, I would.
Reporting in Cresswell, Noah Chavez, KZI 9 News.